Yellow, yellow. Oh, that's not what you're supposed to be looking at. Yellow, 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 everyone, and welcome to another stream. I hope you guys are doing well today. I'm doing just fine. Thank you so much for asking. Do I still have this? Yes, I do. Good, good, good. It's not the right dimensions, but we're close. Oh, I guess you have to see this part. I guess I'll let you see a little bit of the ruler there. It's about as good as we're going to get, I think. Hello, 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 hello. Oh, I need to change this. I'm no longer shopping for spooky games. Let me also unmute everything else while I'm here before I forget. But hi, hello, how are you guys doing? I hope you're doing well. Is this called Asher's Ridge? I've been calling it Asher's Ridge all day. Okay, good. Is there an apostrophe on this? Asher's? There is. Okay. Asher's Ridge. Oh, that means I can turn on this other one over here. I'm not going to change the font though. In fact, I don't want to rewrite this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy you and I'm going to paste you. Nope. Note to self, don't do that again. Almost broke the whole gosh darn thing. We're gonna call this one, this is, Asher. This is game prep, right? Yeah. Hi, I'm late today. I actually have a thing. I have a raid I do on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays that doesn't end until it starts at 8 and it ends at 8:30. But right now we're in the middle of changing our strategy to try and get more points for everyone who's participating. And let me tell you, it's been an adventure trying to get it done. I'm actually being very affected by the fact that I don't have my wrist rest to type. That's so weird. By Rory. By Rory Montford. Not Montford, as I constantly say, which is my B. And since while we're here, I might as well change the font. What is the font here that you use? What do you look like? Asher's Ridge. It's like very capitalized. But like heavy, you know? It's a heavy font. Ooh, the Hotel de Paris is kind of, but not the vibe. But like that's what I mean when I mean heavy, that's what I mean. Maybe this one didn't work. That's fine. That's fine. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing well today. I'm doing all right. Like I said, I have a raid that happens on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And it's something like, it's not very intensive. You guys have watched me do it sometimes. But because we're in the middle of, like I said, trying to get things to be a little more efficient, I've had to spend like a lot more time after doing the raid, looking at numbers and such, which does in fact eat up into my streaming time, because it's already eating up into my streaming time because we changed the hour to 1 hour later, which is so wildly inconvenient for me and streaming, because like I already start late, you know? And I guess I could start earlier. That's true. You're right. I could start earlier. What about this one? No. A lot of these like are old, feel very old timey. I'm not really vibing with it. This is the Hotel de Paris again. The hell is that? I didn't put that there. It's just a little thingamajig they do there. That's neat. I didn't know that font did that. I have so many fonts that like from just like downloading a handful at a time to like see if I like it for whatever project I'm working on, and for the most part I don't. But like I don't delete them because I don't know how to delete fonts. So they just stay there. And so when I have to find the fonts that I like, I spend much too much time, way too much time looking through fonts, let me tell you. Sometimes there will be streams that I don't do because I spend the entire time looking at fonts. And by the time I'm just like, got it, it is much too late. This is a little bit better. I can live with this. I'm still going to keep looking though. And this is how it starts. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing well today. I am doing all right. It was actually another nice, cool day. Let me tell you. So the new symptom that has arisen from the prolonged use of my my new medicines that I've been prescribed is that I sweat a lot now, and just like every once in a while I'll just start sweating. When I'm not hot, you know? I did not like any of those. So let me do this again because okay, there's only one option here. If I move you to 80, I'll like you a little bit more. No. Maybe if I change the color, I'll like it a little bit more. It's like an orangey color, right? I don't know what button I just clicked, but it was not the correct one. Believe it or not, I'm very familiar with the color orange. You would never guess why. I still think it needs to be a little bit bigger. Let's do that. Asher's Ridge. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to copy this and paste it again. And this one, I'm going to change the color and try to get what I usually do to get a little bit of dimension. I think something like this, but I can't make this white. It's way too stark. Okay. Almost. Oh, no, wrong thing. Still a color. Right now, we're also listening to Philip Glass's string quartet number 9, King Lear. And let me tell you, this is he just released this today. Is today the 29th? Today he released this. I got the notification last night, but I didn't want to listen to it then because I wanted to watch TV. But like, Movement 1 is the most, like the first part of this the string quartet is the most Philip Glass piece I've ever heard in my life. In fact, there's parts of it that sound almost exactly the same as one of my favorite pieces by Philip Glass, which is The Photographer. And in particular, I think it's Act 2. It could be Act 1, but I'm unsure. Hey, Kalino, how you doing, friend? How are you? ¿Cómo está? I'm gonna make that a little darker and this one a little lighter. Which let me tell you, if you're looking at the values I'm looking at, it's hard to believe there's any lighter I could get here. In fact, I might... There we go. I was gonna say, in fact, I might just fuck around with the opacity instead to get a little bit of depth in there. I'm okay, soy más o menos. Y tú, mi amiga? Wow, I'm tired. I'm doing well. I'm doing good today. I was just talking about how one of the side effects of my new medicine that I've been taking this month kicked in this week, and I'm just very sweaty. Like, I'm not hot, which is why I find it very like weird that I'm sweating. Like I'll be surprised when like I've been wearing my headphones a lot, and I'll be wearing them and I take them off and like my hair right above my ear, like where these land, absolutely just soaked. But like I don't realize it because it's not like it's hot. I'm not experiencing the heat there. And so I'm just constantly shocked by like me being sweaty. Like uh my head will be very sweaty because I sweat a lot from my head. Um and just like my forehead will just be like moist. And I'm just like, what is happening? It's not even that hot. Like I have a fan directly on me that is blowing the air conditioned air straight at me. I have a whole system going, so it's not like I'm hot, but I am hot. Speaking of, so you woke up drenched last night. Oh no, did your power go out last night, or were you, or was it something else? That's horrible. I hate to hear you hate to hear that. It's the worst feeling to wake up just sweaty. It's even worse when you know you're absolutely soaked. Because when you're soaked, it's not just you, it's also your sheets. So you can't like even like do the lay in bed. Um you can't even like lay in bed comfortably after that, you know? No guess, it was just me. I have no clue what happened, but I guess I was sweating in your sleep. Kitty woke you up. Just like, get your nasty, sweaty ass out of here. Bro, that's wild. And I'm so sorry. That sucks. And hopefully it's just like a one off, because that would suck otherwise. Like, I wasn't even hot. Look, that's what I'm saying. I was also sweating. Just no reason. Just sweating to sweat. Just sweating to be annoyed, mostly. Oh, you know what? The reason I hate me. The reason I usually don't do that is because I usually have the PDF up here. So you guys can see that I'm actually doing something on the side and not just being annoying. But yeah, like that's what I'm saying. I was just like sweating for no reason. Like why even? Like why would my body betray me like that? It's hot enough. I sweat enough in this life. There's no need to be so damn dramatic about it. I'm adjusting this as if you guys can see this in the slightest. Just want you guys to know that I'm like actually doing something when nothing is happening on the screen. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have to rewrite this. Like, I was thinking, right? Like, the audacity of my body, exactly. Like, fucking imagine. I mean, I don't have to imagine. I've definitely had that happen before. Let me just drag this down a little bit and drag both of these up a little bit. And then we drag this under my webcam. There we go. Like, it's ridiculous. I'm sorry, though. I'm sorry to hear that. That shit sucks. I do have to lurk tonight, though. I have to be pretty up or pretty early. I totally understand. I totally understand. It's very late. Have a good night, Callan, though. Thanks so much for stopping by and saying hello. I hope you have a very not sweaty night. I wish you the least sweaty night possible. Bye, Kalino! Let's see. So we need to figure out what I'm gonna need for this game. So we need letter tiles, right? My god. Hold on. Let me put this at an angle I write in. And move this a little bit forward. So we're gonna need letter tiles, right? We're going to need cards. We're gonna need some sort of play space, a virtual tabletop. Let me write this with an actual pen. So we're gonna need letter tiles. We're gonna need cards. We are going to need a virtual tabletop. What else are we gonna need? We are going to need characters, right? Like, because we're all gonna be playing different characters, we do come up with a protagonist. So we're gonna need some sort of like NPC cards. NPC cards. I'm trying to also think broadly because I don't know what'll be available once the Kickstarter comes out. Like for me, ideally, Kickstarter comes out, back it, get the full PDF. And then, you know, other things. Protagonist card. It's not neutral, the word I'm looking for. But a generic. Generic is the word I'm looking for. Generic. Let's see, what else? We need... note-taking tools. I trust us to have that. As opposed to anything else. I'm thinking solely... I'm thinking solely game tools first. Oh, the safety tool cards. Safety tool cards. What this is telling me is I'm either gonna have to use a different top simulator, or I'm gonna have to go in and mass delete everything I've ever uploaded to Roll20 because I'm out of room on Roll20. I keep like deleting one thing and then adding one thing over and over again. And it's not a sustainable way to upload things, let me tell you. But I've not wanted to mess around with it too much because it's very annoying. I don't know if you know this, but it's annoying to delete things. Because if you do one wrong thing, like pop out, like I'm a big popper out of the windows of Roll20, does not like that. Does not like that. Do not do that if you want to mass delete items. It will not let you. I spent an hour troubleshooting why it wouldn't let me delete anything, only to find out it's because I popped it out. I'm also gonna want music for this. That's not no. That's stream stuff. I don't want to think about stream stuff right now. Ah, shit. Well, we'll just do that instead. Full. No, damn it. We'll do this, and we'll do this again. We'll do no. Learn from your lessons, PB. Write those on a different layer. It is letter tiles. We're gonna need cards. We're gonna need NPC cards. And generic protagonist card. What else? Oh, virtual tabletop. That's true. That is something I'm gonna need. Virtual tabletop. Safety tool cards. At this point, I think you can. Hey, Crit Witch! Welcome in. Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing? Okay, I'm gonna delete this layer. I'm gonna pop up that layer. Okay. Yellow, yellow. Hey! Oh, that's so cute. A little, the little witchy guy. Little cutie. Oh, you know what? I would also like some location cards. Some location cards. Coming off that wonderful werewolf making me feels. Hell yeah. So doing pretty well. I only caught the very last little bit of the stream. But I'm very much looking forward to going back and rewatching his entire run. Because I love Troopers Thought series, Seasons of Death series. So I've already watched. I haven't watched the first one, but I did watch the season prior to mine. I watched mine, lived mine even. And now I'm looking forward to seeing more Werewolf. Because I've only caught bits and pieces of the stream as I jump in and out. Where's my mouse? I keep losing my mouse. I'm thinking I might need to do something with my mouse to make it more interesting looking. So I see it when it crosses my freaking page. Very exciting though. It's very exciting. I hate when that happens, yeah. Character sheet. Oh, I need some sort of character sheet. Maybe that also kind of matches up with this though. This is the same thing. But I need to recognize that that's basically what these character cards are going to be, or NPC cards, I guess, in this case. Card for the risk deck. This is going to be location, risk, that was a traumatizing ending to that song. And not for the reasons you might think. Oh, it just restarted. Hold on. The real horror of the end of this King Lear Movement 5 is that all of these... Oh, hold on. Starting from... somewhere around here, we start going with... we start getting etudes. Etudes is another word for... in music is just a word for like exercises, for musical exercises. And they get real intense real quick, and they're the type of things that like you're expected to just be able to kind of do. And the way that like you kind of improve the difficulty of them is they make you play them faster. And by they, I mean your teachers. And that's what the end of these are. It just sounds like a bunch of etudes. Here are just a bunch of arpeggios. Just a bunch of arpeggios, which are classic etude practices. And the other thing they do is they make you do like double stops essentially on each note, make you play them twice in a row. So that these are just scales. That's a chromatic scale, regular scale, chromatic scale, more arpeggios. These are just etudes. Arpeggio is just another word for broken chord. And I've done this etude also. Not on violin, but on flute. But it's the same idea. Another chromatic scale, more chromatic scales. Chromatic scales just mean you play every single note between point A and point B in order, either going up or going down. But if I had $1 for every time I had to play that, it's an etude. And it's just a fucking etude. That's so... the ending of that is not traumatic because of the way it was arranged. It was traumatic because it was just a bunch of etudes. It was just giving me PTSD is what that did. Yeah, I did decide to go with Asher's Ridge. I'm hoping to go with it at the very least. I do have ideas of whom's I think would be fun to play this with. And I have to see what their availability will be. Hold on, I need to No, boop boop. Because I just realized what I have under my on my Wacom screen is my Discord. And I've been talking about a bunch of games I'm going to be in the near future. And I don't want to spoil any of that. There are so many. So many. So many, just so much. But the beginning of this piece, so listen to the beginning of this piece. Ba, 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 ba. And this is where we deviate from the other piece. I wasn't sure when going through the setup, but the story part was kind of neat, so curious how it plays out. Yeah, it's one of those games that I am very curious about. I like the mechanically, I think I really like how this plays. Again, I need to, maybe I'll do that today. I need to do some research on which virtual tabletops offer me letter tiles, or if it's something I'm gonna have to figure out myself, or if I'm gonna finally have to learn how to do Tabletop Simulator, because I know on Tabletop Simulator you do have those assets available to you. So that is something that I need to do some research on. Because if I have to do the card tiles, that's going to be a nightmare for the assets that Roll20 allows me to have. And then also have the card deck available for it. I don't remember how many assets they let you do. I guess I've done 2 decks, so I can't. I will have enough, but I might not, and I don't know. Yeah, that's something I have to look into letter tiles. That's why I'm writing stuff down. I'm writing things down to see what I'm going to need for this game in particular. Before I think about how production is going to work, I need to see what else I need. That's what I was about to ask. They have some, shall we say, concerns about attribution and payment to designers of the real game, but Tabletop Sim may wind up being the thing to do, yeah. Having to do your own tile assets to manage? No, people, don't do it. No, stop. What are you doing? Don't do that. On the bright side, letter tiles, very easy, right? Letter tiles just hit you with a... There you go. A. What is this one? B. Because the other thing we could do is we could just draw them. But I think it would be much easier to just pull from the deck. Because I'm sure there's some way to rig up something to roll the letters for us. But like the weight would be weird in how you do it, and I think it's just better to have the pseudo randomness of pulling stuff virtually. I've seen you and Trooper. Yeah. You've seen our ridiculousness. So we're gonna have key locations. There's a risk deck. There is our letter pool gameplay. Okay, no, yeah, I will scroll through this just so I can see. Because there's also the other thing that also interests me about this game, I'm not gonna lie to you, is that we have a commercial break. And the thing about the commercial break is that not only is it a built-in break into the game, which I think is really fun, I have been wanting to try out I just haven't done a lot of game streams this year. Not as many as I was hoping to do because my year kind of got derailed a little bit. Really right at the beginning of the year. We hit that first quarter mark and my year got real wonky real fast. So I haven't done as many game nights as I've wanted to do. But one of the things I want to do, and I've talked about it a little bit, is for to have some designed breaks during the game, or like that midway break. I would like to have a some commercials that my friends do for their games that are happening on their streams. Like to hit up some of my friends and be like, hey, are there any games that like you're doing on your channel soon? Would you like to have a spot in my, on my ad break during our break in the game, our midway break, and just like do a little commercial? It's heavily inspired by the commercials that we did in Prax's game, the Carousel Court, that I played with Pope, Prax, Trooper, and Lindy. The one where we were all kind of like supernatural, and like the Ninja Turtles that Lindy had. Because Prax got some people to do those little spots. Yeah, Hawkeye. Yeah. So heavily inspired by that. But instead of it being like in-game things, it would be instead like actual things my friends are doing. Because my friends are always doing a ton of things. And I'll be honest with you, a little bit selfish, because sometimes I don't know what my friends are doing. I'm not nearly on social media at all nowadays. So it is purely through word of mouth that I find out about some games that are happening. And I just think it could be fun. It could be a fun little thing to do, like just during the break, have like 4 or 5 people talk about their game for like 30 seconds to a minute. And if they want to do something visual, they can, but it could just be a total audio thing like that. I just think it would be neat. I just think it would be neat. And the fact that this game has a built-in commercial built into it, I think it would be fun to just do it. Yeah, if you don't post on Discord where I'm looking or already on my list to check on, I ain't seeing it. Yeah, exactly. Even if I do know it's happening, it just, if I see the like pop the notification while I'm doing something else, I'm not seeing it. I'm sorry. It's not happening. I'm just not going to see it. It is just the nature of my brain. My object permanence is very, very, very bad when it comes to information. It's now I see it, now I don't. If it's not here, it doesn't exist. So, it would be selfish on my part, because what I would also do is I would edit the audio on all of these spots, because I am a stickler for audio. What can I say? I like good, clean, round audio, and if it's something I can edit, that's so much easier on me. I can edit audio all day, every day. That's like not an issue at all. That was a good stretch. That hit a place I didn't even know could pop. I'll be honest with you. I've never had that part of my back do something. I'm looking through this because I need to look to see if there's anything else. I just had the idea because I read the commercial break in here. I think inviting risk is a very interesting conceptually for the game itself, mechanically. I kept a pretty good track of the game and the mechanics of the game as I was reading through it. I like to think at the very least. But sorry, I just had a production idea. and I just went through a little bit of a thought process of oh, how would I do that? And then I should stop thinking about this. I'm not going to think about it fast enough. And I'm like, well, what if I think of the idea right away? I'm not going to think of the idea right away. But looking at the mechanics. Yeah, I think I kept a pretty good track of it as I was reading. That's right. What is this called? This is the risk graph, maybe? The risk Punnett square? The risk table, I'll call it. Oh, don't you need cards for the pause rewind? Yes. Those are my safety tool cards. I did remember those. But good looking out. Good looking out. Yeah. I am going to have the safety tool cards. That's another thing. Oh. Damn, I must have tuned out on that one. I don't recall that table. Oh yeah. This is the there is a table. It's I when I looked at it, I was not very happy that this is a thing. But the way that this works, so when you pull from the risk deck, what happens with that risk card is wholly dependent on your active location card. So say we're at Bridge, I already forgot every single location in this game. Say we're at Bridgewater Lake, right? Bridgewater Lake, that makes sense, right? And so that is my 8 of clubs, right? That is our active location. That is where the scene is actively taking place. Excuse me. Due to actions I either took in the previous scene or an action I'm choosing to take now, I pull a risk card. This risk card is going to be a face card, so it's either a Jack, King, Queen, or a Joker, and all of the suits are on there, right? So say I pull the King of Diamonds. So now I have the King of Diamonds, but I'm at a location that is a club card. So I have a diamond and a club. So what happens here is I look, ooh. I didn't even do that on purpose. So I reference this table, and the risk deck is the risk deck. It's like this. This is the risk. This is our risk suits. Shit. This is our risk suits, and these are going to be our our location, our active location. I don't remember I don't remember a single one of my shortcuts. I'm realizing right now. It's been a long time since I've been in Clip Studio. So we have our heart, we have our diamond, we have our club, and we have our spade, right? And then up here we have the same thing. I have so much room that I've completely, it's okay. I'm gonna be moving some things. This is a digital medium. I can fix it. A real suspect looking club. There we go. Just ignore the rest of this. So, let me just close that up real quick. So I can just do this the easy way. So these are all disasters. Anything that falls in those comparisons, disasters. Anything that falls on this axis or in this line diagonal, all perfect. Things go great for you. And everything else is either kind of good or kind of bad. So like these minor negative. These are too similar in color. Well, we're gonna do that and do this and do that instead, so it stands out a little bit more. So you reference the your location card. So in this case, I said I had an 8 of clubs is our location card. And then our other card was a king of diamonds, I think is what I said, right? So I look at this, I see this is my my club. So now I have to cross-reference it with the diamond. So I look for this and I see I fall on a disaster tile. Oh good God, yeah. So you fall on the disaster tile here. And that's how you reference it. You look at your location card, and then whatever you pulled from your risk deck, you compare it to that. So that is how it works. So the reason these are perfect because they're of the same suit. So heart, heart, diamond, diamond, club, club, spade, spade. Whenever they meet up, those are all perfect. And I'm assuming they are considering these the polar opposites. The heart and the spade are opposites, I'm assuming, because the spade is like an upside down heart. Our club and our diamond are opposites, I'm assuming. Again, our club and our diamond, and then our heart and our spade. All of those are disasters. And everything else is kind of either kind of good or kind of bad. So if things are a disaster, they all have like their own impact on the game as a whole or the scene as a whole. So if you hit perfect, whatever the risky thing you have to take, you have to do, whatever you choose to do with that risk factor, it comes out perfectly. Nothing goes wrong. It was a risky, you did a risky thing, but it's fine because you came out of it unscathed. If you roll a minor positive, it goes well, mostly, but there's still something else you have to solve. You know, like you didn't solve it all, you didn't get it all in one. If there's a minor negative, then the action didn't go well. It ends poorly. And your life and the people around you's lives just got that much more complicated because of it. And now there's more problems, more questions being asked surrounding you and whatever you're doing and whatever the mystery is, right? Attached to you, or that you're attaching yourself to. Disaster is literally, it couldn't have been worse. It literally, the worst thing that could have happened did happen. So now you're gonna feel that the consequences of you failing are going to ripple through the entire rest of the episode, aka the session. Then the Joker because the Joker is another thing you pull. The Joker, you pull that, and then that is like a redo. It's like pull again, draw another risk card, and you do whatever that risk card is, you know, like you go back and you figure out if it's perfect, minor positive, minor negative, or a disaster. But additionally, because you pulled a Joker card, now whatever the result, whether perfect, disaster, minor, negative, or positive, the event that takes place is going to haunt your memories forever, and you have to figure out why that is something that is going to haunt you. So that is that's what the graph is. I'm not in love with it as a mechanic as a whole. I like the idea and don't love it as a mechanic as a whole, but I guess in a game where you're not using dice, you have to, you know, figure out the odds in a different way. And I guess this is one way to do it. And I guess once you kind of know the chart, you get it. Like if I know that the spade and the diamond are always opposite and they're therefore always a disaster, and I know if they match suit, it's always going to be perfect, then that leads me to believe that the spade and the diamond are going to be disasters in any combination, right? Because if spade and heart are opposites and that's a disaster, then diamond and clubs are also going to always be a disaster. And if matches are always positive, then that's great. The thing I don't like are the minors. I don't like the minor risk or the minor positive, minor negative, because that feels harder to memorize to me. Unless it's both red cards. Is it both red cards? So let's see. Diamond and heart, positive. Heart and diamond, minor positive. Okay, spade and club, positive. Spade and club, minor positive. Okay, so if they're the same color, if they're both blacks or both reds, then you're gonna get minor positives. Okay, and you'll get, let's see, a heart and a spade and a diamond, spade and a diamond, heart and a spade. Those are minor negatives. Okay, so I guess there's like little tricks to remember it, but of everything I have to do about the game, this is the one that I'm like the least enthused about the mechanic. I think it's needlessly complicated, but I haven't played the game, so I don't know if it is needlessly complicated. Right now, it simply is complicated. The map is another thing I have to think about. Well, I'm gonna put this up here. We're gonna have the map. I'm gonna have to figure something out with this map, because it is very low quality. It is very extremely pixelated. You guys can't see it, but I can change that. This is the map in the quick start guide. I'm assuming it doesn't look like this in the official version of it. Yeah, even the spread has it all pixelated like this. Yeah, this as a map is awful. This isn't going to be hard to recreate. It is something that needs to be recreated, and for me to find all of the locations and figure out what these things say. Like, what's that? If I pull out, I recognize this as woods, but I don't know what that word is. Brandon, maybe? I would have to use a lot of context clues. Let me tell you that right now. Lucky for me, I like maps and I like doing maps, but this is still something that is going to be It's Brightwater, not Bridgewater. Brightwater Lake, much less of a stupid name than Bridgewater. Bridgewater Lake. So that's something I'm gonna have to recreate. Again, I'm not gonna get, even though this is actually one of the parts that I'm really excited to do if I have to do it. Because it's been a little bit since I've done anything with any map stuff. A lot of this also is dependent on, I've also never done a topographic map, so that's also kind of exciting. If I have to do it. If I don't have to do it, I'm not going to do it because there's plenty of stuff I have to do anyways. But it depends what is going to come with the Kickstarter. I don't know what the Kickstarter is going to entail. Because sometimes when people drop a Kickstarter, it is just to fund like the extra stuff, but the game's done. And for some people, it's to finish the game, you know? And I don't know which of the two it's going to be. I've already seen, I mean, we already looked at the Kickstarter page, the preview of the Kickstarter page. So we know that they're going to have like a physical version of the map in the book and some little knickknacks associated with the game. But digitally, I don't know what's going to be provided and how quickly. My plan is to just do this quick start game. But given the opportunity, I wouldn't be mad to look at the entire book and go from there, you know? So that is something I am keeping in mind as I play through this. Or as I'm planning this out. Like it comes out the 2nd, which is next Tuesday. So that's not a very long time to wait. And I want to play this game sometime in October, probably mid to late October. So I am... You know what? I want to do that also. I'm going to do the terminology sheet. Oh, hold on. It's A2 time. I might as well listen to the trauma of my teens here. My teens and early 20s. Oh, that's true. They were going to have writer's room advice. I forgot about that. A lot of log lines and log lines. We had some log lines here. Rules for creating characters, of course, the location deck, town location, interior locations, paranormal phenomena scene generator, which we don't have in this because this isn't the full rule set, and series campaign play. Campaign play, obviously a campaign. Oh gosh, that is a hell of a run. Fucking Philip Glass recreating Madrama. I think that's it. 100 letter tiles, by the way. Let me write that down here so I just know what I would be getting myself into. Again, they're not the hardest thing in the world to do, but it will just be another thing I'd have to do. Okay, the music isn't super loud. Okay, I think that is everything game-wise. I think that's everything game-wise I'm going to need. I also think there is an escalation deck, so I'm just gonna write that in also. But they're more like piles of cards, because a lot of these are influenced by the other thing. Oops. So we have, with my phenomenal handwriting here, we have the terminology cheat sheet, because at the end of the PDF they give you the definitions of all the terminology in the game that they use. We're gonna need the map. And in fact, it's gonna be something I have in game and then also in as a file I provide them. Letter tiles up to 100 or 100 letter tiles. I'm gonna need cards. So this is just a poker, a standard deck. Standard deck of cards. With location, risk, and escalation decks. Location decks are all the cards minus the face cards and the jokers. The risk deck is those cards that are separated from the other deck. So you have all the numbers in one deck and then all the face cards in another. And then from the location deck, that you then, because then you choose 20 location cards from that deck that you have left. So you take out what? A standard deck is 54 cards if you include the jokers. It is Jack, Queen, King. So that is 3 times 4 because there's 4 suites. That is 12, that's 14. So you take out 14 face cards and that's your risk deck. 14 cards from a 54 deck. That leaves you with 30 cards. So of those 30 cards, you discard 10 basically. And then because you're gonna handpick the 20 locations that you're gonna use during the stream, essentially, or the game. Sorry, chat. And then from those location cards, you pull 5 for each act, essentially, I think. And you're going to go through 3 scenes in 3 of those locations. Then once you're down to your last 2 location cards, you're going to escalate. So the scene is, the story is going to get a little bit more dramatic, more paranormal. And you are going to choose one of the 2 location cards you have left. And of those 2 cards you've chosen, one of them is going to go into your escalation deck. And whenever you have to pull from the escalation deck, that's where it's going to go. To my understanding, I have to read through the entire rule set again now that I know a little bit more. I can't decide whether or not I like the way that they laid out the rules in the quick start guide. Because part of me likes how in detail they went, and I really like all of it, but I don't know if I like the order that they gave me all the information in. Like, I both like it and hate it at the same time, if you know what I mean. But those are the decks that I'm gonna need. Then there's the NPC cards. Those are all the like mini character sheets that each character has. Let me find my mouse. And we'll go over here. Let's not do that one. Here we go. So each character is going to have name, pronouns, age, occupation, catalyst, attitude. Occupation, catalyst, and attitude are your character traits. That is what you're going to use to play the game. So your occupation are your character skills. Your catalyst is something. I remember me talking about it. I don't remember what it is right now. And attitude is the thing you use to invite risk into a scene. Oh man, what is a catalyst, bro? Here's the thing about the catalyst, and here's the thing about, once again, I don't know if I like or hate the setup. Here we go. Is that I don't like that some things were mentioned right at the beginning and then never again until like near the end. So catalysts define emotions or events that bring the character into the episode. I see. Regardless of whether your character embraces or struggles against their catalyst, it motivates their actions, both past, present, and future. Gotcha. So their catalyst is the reason that they're in the story. So Dr. Geraldine Cowley, for example, their catalyst is nightmares. So one of the reasons that might come into one of the stories is because people have been talking about the nightmares that Dr. Geraldine Cowley has been rumored to be having, and it relates to the big house that we're trying to investigate. And the reason that we go visit Cowley, or Cowley ends up in the same location as us, is because of those nightmares, right? Wanting to like face them head on or something. And maybe is the reason she's so authoritative, because she feels like she has no control in her everyday life. Or she feels the need to have control in her everyday life because she doesn't have any control over her nighttime life. That's what the catalyst does, right? And then the attitude, once again, is just kind of like how they invite risk into their introduce risk into the game. Hold on. Here they are. So over here we have some of the, what do you call them? Main characters. So we have Emma Wilson, pronouns she, her, age 22, occupation camp leader, catalyst, love, attitude, decisive. And then you also have a connection and a wardrobe as a main character. So these would be your main character cards. And these are who we will be playing, essentially. Yes, each player assumes responsibility for at least one main character who they and only they control. Any of us can play the supporting character. So like Dr. Geraldine Crowley, if she shows up in a scene, any of us can pick her up and play her. We'll grab her card or her character sheet and we'll play her. Just so we understand her motivation, essentially. But we will all pick a main character and we will all like that is our character we play during the game. And their attributes are occupation. Again, those are skills. So any skill you would expect a camp leader to have are the skills that Ellie Wilson has. The reason she is with this group is because of love, because she has a crush on someone, probably. Attitude, decisive. And down here you see that there's an extra little part on this. So this extra little bit on the character sheet is what happens. So decisive. We check that off. We can only use this once per episode, so once per session. And it gives you a description of what you do when you choose to invite risk. So this is what we're doing. Take any 2 cards from the risk deck. So you take 2 risk deck cards and you remove them from the game. So you're taking those cards out. And it's take any 2 cards. It's not telling you take only the ones at the top or the ones at the bottom or something. Look through the cards and see which one you want to get rid of. And this is advantageous because if you're in a scene, you know, with hearts, you're in a location that is a heart location, then you're not going to want a spade. You're not going to want spades. So you're going to yoink those spade risk cards out, as many as you can. You know, there's 3 of them, 3 spades in there. You take 2 out, you're greatly reducing your chance of getting a disaster, but not all of it. So you remove them from the game, or you could be strategic and you could see what location cards you have left. And because sometimes it is the next scene where risk has to be invited. So decisive. We decide to be decisive. I'm going to do this because like we're enough talking. Let's just do it. I'm choosing to be decisive in this scene. So I'm checking that off. I'm going to look at the deck. I'm going to take 2 out. We're in the 3rd part of the scene. We get to choose our next location card. By the way that things are going, we're probably going to go with a heart card. So I take 2 spades out and they're out of the game now. However, the next scene any character plays must invite risk. So now they have to get risk, you know? And on your risk, if you roll disaster, if you pull a card that is the exact opposite of the one that is your location card, then what's going to happen to you is crisis. That is your disaster. I like this. It's like motivation and attribute light. Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's really low key. I really like this for a one shot setting, but I also really like it for like a campaign. Because I can definitely see people really like leaning into the, like that network TV show sort of session by session progression, you know, because it is a show at the end of the day, so you can do whatever you want. Like you are playing characters, you know, you are the actor playing a character, essentially. It's very meta. And so you get the fun like meta-ness of you're on a TV show, a paranormal TV show. So you, the person playing the character, knows that this shit's paranormal, but the people that you're playing, your character, doesn't always know it's paranormal. So I think it's fun to take these characters from episode to episode or session per session. Especially because one of the rules is at the end of an episode, you have to end at the end of a session, you have to end on the cliffhanger. And I think that's very fun because it really leads into the next session. And I think that really invites like that, oh no, really? Is that really the end? No way. That like kind of feeling you get sometimes at the end of sessions. There's, like I said, there's a lot about this system that I really enjoy, along with its uniqueness and it not taking itself too seriously. I think is really attributes to it, or really adds to that. And I read the word I read the word attitude, but because I don't have my glasses on, I thought it said attribute. It's not rules light, but it is well, it is rules light. It's not mechanics light, I should say. But the mechanics that are there aren't difficult to understand. And because the other thing I like about it is that it's GM-less, but instead you're all kind of the GM, you know? Because you're all running the TV show together. But at no point do you break the fourth wall in this also, which is also something else I really enjoy. You are playing through the show. There is at no point where you stop and acknowledge that, hey, I am an actor playing a character on a TV show, on a paranormal TV show. None of this is real, you know, like there's never that moment of break. But yeah, so there's connection, which is, in this case, Ellie works for Ultimate Trails, a family adventure holiday group that provides campsites, guided hikes, and outdoor activities for ages 12 plus. So just right there, it gives you a lot of information, even for locations, but also what Ellie does. So Ellie, for her occupation as a camp leader at Ultimate Trails, means that she knows how to camp. She knows how to set up camp. She probably knows how to, like, some basic outdoor survival skills. She, you know, she does guided hikes. So she helps people hike, and outdoor activities. So like anything else, right? Like that you could have, like sports, archery, things like that you can think of that would happen in campsites, because it's called Ultimate Trails. You would imagine there's a lot of shit like that. So now you know what her occupation entails. Also for ages 12 plus. So she's dealing with adults and teenagers for the most part. She is often found at the Ultimate Trails campsite, where she works alongside her crush, Brad Gibbs. Also, her boss is the greedy Mr. Richard Knightley. So just in those 3 sentences, we just got a load of information about the world, her connection with the world, and some extra information about Ellie Wilson's impression on these other people, right? Like her boss is the greedy Mr. Richard Knightley. Why is he greedy? He's her boss. Mr. Richard Knightley is greedy. Mr. Richard Knightley is also a supporting character, so we can go down. If you go down and read Mr. Richard Knightley's little blurb, you'll find out that Mr. Richard Knightley is actually a frugal man who is working hard to make sure that he breaks even, and that this endeavor can make him rich. And that would sound overly ambitious. However, he has franchised Ultimate Trails. There are 8 other locations, and you find out that the location in Brightwater is not doing well. So he is here working at the Ultimate Trails because he is determined to make this place profitable. So you understand the motivation as to why someone would consider him greedy. And just like that, I don't remember a damn thing about, Brad Gibbs, I think, is Lucky. I think that's who Brad Gibbs is. Things just kind of always work out for him. Even when things go poorly, things kind of just work out for him. And that's who Ellie works alongside, right? And her catalyst is love, so you can imagine ways you can, like, interweave her into the story. Also, there is wardrobe, because they think they cite that it's important to know what people are it's a uniform, basically. It's because, again, it's a TV show, so you have to kind of like know what they're wearing, so you kind of know the archetype of the character. So in this case, Ellie Wilson is usually wearing leggings and an Ultimate Trails t-shirt, sturdy boots or trainers, tennis shoes, rarely seen without her emotional support water bottle. Once again, 2 lines, very quickly. We now know a little bit more about Ellie Wilson as a person. Oh, this is the part. This is the song. It was the 3rd song. I fucking knew it. But yeah, if we just listen past this first part. In this song, here we go. This is this entire part, by the way. This is just thematically what it always does. And now if we listen to his newest piece, the string quartet, number 9 by King Lear. I think it's this one. Not that one by King Lear. It's the first piece. Hold on. Please hold. This song just dropped today. I don't know which part it is. But even this part just gives you a little bit of that feel. At least I think so. If I were to look at the sheet music, I bet you it would look very similar. Anyway, just a little aside because I just heard it. All right, going back to it. But yeah, so that is how the character sheet, what I'm going to have to keep in mind when I do the character sheets, because all of this information is going to be on there. So it's really just going to be a character. I'm thinking these are all going to have to be tarot card length because it's so much information I need to put on them. Even the supporting characters have so much on them. And then I'm going to have to make some blank ones for, I'm going to have to make some, here we go, Brad Gibbs. I was right. Catalyst Luck, attitude popular. He's also age 24. 2 years older than Ellie. But it's a small town, so he probably is, was it an older grade than Ellie? But yeah, so again, we have name, pronouns, age, catalyst, attitude are all you really get with them. And then a little blurb about who they are, essentially. Also, all these highlighted words are locations. Maybe so maybe along with terminology cheat sheet, I'm also going to need a location. Maybe along with a map, I have a location cheat sheet. Cheat. Even though I say cheat and cheat the same way, I have to spell them differently. Cheat sheet. But yeah, it's just so much information on some of these. Like they're just, when I was reading through these yesterday, I was like, these blurbs are really long. And from experience, when I've done playing cards, I've had to take down like, just like, this is one of the shorter paragraphs, right? Like, the Brad's winning smile, chiseled physique, and willingness to give anything a try make him the most popular camp leader at Ultimate Trails. He spins wild tales of his adventures at the campfire, leading many to think he has both the worst and best luck in the entire world. In this blurb, I would have to take out the second half of this if I had any hopes of making this fit in the playing card. So I think I'm going to have to do like tarot card length character sheets, which remind me of those, like, I don't know what they are. I think it's trivia cards. But like they're long, they're skinny, and they're like hooked on a ring on the side, and it's like a big old stack of them. It's like maybe like 50 to 100, like cardstock cards on that little ring, and they always had something on them. I never used them, but I would see them all the time in school in other classes. They would have them. Don't know what they were. I always thought they were a game because they looked like game cards to me. And maybe they were. I don't know. I never used them in my classes. But maybe it's going to have to be something like that. But yeah, when I was reading that, I was just like, what am I going to do? Also, I will say I'm making a big fuss about the letter tiles. However, there are modified rules if you do not have letter tiles. They provide this graph here in which you can roll a d10, 2 d10s, to determine which letter you get. However, I don't think this is fun and interactive for my need for this game. I didn't post this on Discord or on the Discord, did I? Now that I think about it, I didn't do either. Well, I mean, you know, I can at least do a cheeky little copy and paste of this. Lamau. Have a good night, Crit Witch. Thank you so much for stopping by. You did say something, so I will read that, hopefully, before you leave. Do you just give one person just a small number of people to implement? Sorry, I'm not wearing my glasses. Let me move this down over here. Do you just give one person just a small number of people to implement, or just a few at a time? Like, do you mean in the sense of, like, how many people play? Like, so you have your main character. A main character is, everyone is going to get one of those. Everyone's going to be a main character or have a main character. Try to limit the number of characters you need to handle. So you just have that one character, and then inside a scene, a supporting character, who might enter the scene can be played by anyone. No one has to take ownership of a character forever. They can just they can choose to play that character for that scene, but someone else can choose to play that character in a different scene. It depends more on, like, who's in that scene, which characters are in that scene. So if, like, I'm playing the main character, then player B can play the supporting character for me, so we can have a scene together. Because again, there's no GM, so, like, we all have to share the burden of that. And then player B might be in a scene where they're the main character, and they need, and I could also be there also, as a main character in that scene, or I could be elsewhere doing something else, getting into trouble elsewhere. But I can then play the supporting character who is in that scene. Or if there are multiple supporting characters in that scene, I could either choose to play both of them, or if there's another player there, if we have a third, then player C can play another one of those characters, and so on and so forth. So we only take charge, and only we can play our main character that we choose at the beginning of the game. Supporting characters can be played by any of us. They can be played by you, yourself, and you. You can just do a scene by yourself with your main character and playing all the supporting characters. Yeah, so everyone needs to know the main points. So that's why I'm going to have, like, the supporting character, I'm calling them NPC cards. That's why it's important to have that occupation, the pronouns, the age, and that little blurb about them. If for nothing else, just to have a quick reference to them instead of having to, once again, the number one thing I always want to prevent in these games is getting through a sheet of paper and just having to flip very quickly to find that information. I want to prevent that as much as possible whenever I do these game nights. So that is what I'm hoping happens here. And because it's such a collaborative storytelling game, I'm hoping that when you choose the supporting character card, in whatever format we're going to end up doing it, that we all see it on the table and we all know, hey, this is a supporting character that's going to enter the scene. Or like these are the supporting characters attached to this location card, and they could probably be there. And then, because we're going to talk about the scene before it happens, and then we'll play it out, essentially. So I'm hoping that that's like how that plays out. I'm going to have to see. I'm going to have to, again, read through this. Again, crossing my fingers that the full rule set drops with the Kickstarter, and I could just read through the whole thing as intended, instead of this kind of like chopped and screwed version of it. Because I would like to know more in depth about some of the rules here, but obviously they weren't provided in the quick preview guide. Because there's a lot of stuff about the NPCs that they left out because yeah, that's a big part of the game. So totally understandable. They just gave us a bunch of she just gave us a bunch of examples. But have a good night, Critwitch. Thank you so much for stopping by and winding down with me after the fun that was Trooper Stream. You too, have a great weekend, Critwitch. I shall talk to you later. All right, map location, tile, standard deck, NPC cards, generic protagonist cards. Let's do main character and supporting characters. And then also the generic protagonist card. Because apparently that's also a thing. Again, only quickly mentioned in parts of this. For the location, I'm going to have a similar issue in which I'm going to now need to put a lot of information on the small card, or I could choose to just do a bigger card and put a bunch of information. Either way, I'm going to have to paraphrase, I think, a lot of this. The ones that I can, because some of these are going to be just... The thing about these is they have such good lore. There's such good lore on these. They do such a good job of building the world. That's why I think this game is a very good game to be able to mod and create your own setting to. Because the bones of this game are not tied in with the content of the cards. The content of the cards are just dependent on the story you want to tell. And in this case, it's Asher's Ridge story. But you can so very easily, if you are willing to put in all of the work, you can so very easily just write 40 cards of lore about different locations. You can get your own map and create a bunch of locations, choose 40 places, and then figure it out. And then they don't provide interiors, I don't think, here. I think these are all just the outsides, but apparently there's also interiors that Rory Montford has provided in the full book. So you have the interiors, the exteriors, and then also... I wonder if the ones that she's included are all the exteriors, and then all the numbers that are missing are the interiors. Like, she provided half of them here. Hold on. We count. I must now know if my theory is true or not. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yep. Although she said 40 of both, but I don't know. I guess it's just a guess. My guess is that there's 20 inside, 20 outside. And she's provided only the outsides. But yeah, all of these cards have great lore to them that really enhance the story of Asher's Ridge. So like Asher's Ridge Primary School starts off with a banger, right? Like, the school has been closed for many years and is falling into disrepair. It closed in 1991, 10 years after a group of children disappeared. Nowadays, older children are schooled in nearby Cuddlestone, and a number of primary-age children receive their education in the same building as the town's library. The population of Asher's Ridge is predominantly age 60 plus, most of whom lost a close relative in the 1981 disappearances. Wait a second. Hold on. Wait a second. Hold on. Who is this? Albert Greenwatch. Hold on. Albert Green... Watch. Albert Greenwatch. Albert Greenwatch. He's 73. When did I say this happened? 40 years ago? It happened in 73. This game takes place in 2025, summer of 2025. So that's two. That is 73, 83, 93, 2003, 2013. Was it 73 or was it 83? Wait, now I've confused myself. Is it 83? $1991. Wait, 10 years. It closed in 1991, 10 years after. It happened in 81. So 81, 91, 2001, 2011, 2021, plus 4. So that's 44 years ago that this happened. So if this happened 44 years ago, 40 years ago, let's see, 40 years ago, this Albert Greenwatch was 30 something. No, 28. They were 28 when that happened because they're a retired librarian, which would lead us to believe that he used to work in the library and maybe worked there 28 years ago. Because Albert's and his catalyst is a ritual. Attitude is brave. Albert is passionate about record keeping and knows every change made to the town in the last 200 years. His store, Historical Record and Curiosities, is as much a record of his adventures as it is of Asher's Ridge itself. And his knowledge is vast and esoteric as his collection, so it also leads to believe that he traveled. I wonder what the timeline is there for Albert. Like, was it too depressing and he left after the kids died? Maybe he came back 10 years later and started working. I don't, there's stories to be told, and this is what I mean. It's like, you can create such a compelling story by just giving slight details in all of these cards. And you can very easily create your own setting. Excuse me, you like this. Because like you can attach people to these locations, right? Because people work. People are parents, so you could even attach kids to said parents and such. Like, I think this game has a lot of good bones. I think that is good for that. I think I have everything that I would want. So let me save this. And then we're gonna do a quick little peruse. I say quick, we'll see how quick it is. We're gonna do a little peruse on Asher's Ridge sheet of to do. Oh, actually, I actually would like to also write down production things that I would like to do before I forget them. So let's bring old boy back down. And let's switch you back on. Boop. I need to get a button for that. I might have a button for it and I just don't remember it, to be honest with you. The other thing I want production wise, so commercial break. Commercial break. Ask friends for ads to make ads for their games or projects. All right, that's commercial break. Thread word have the thread zone always on screen or a pop-out screen. Or stream. I would like us to always see it. Players always see it. Okay, what else? Oh, more on thread words. Have a way that thread words are highlighted somehow. I don't know how I would do it, but I think it would be cool if I could figure out a way to do it. Map is definitely going to be a pop-out. And maybe I'll even provide it on like a Google Sheets or something. Or like in the Discord. Ooh, Nightbot. Or a bot. Or streamer bot. Dictionary. Commands. In chat. For chat. For chat. Oh, I need music. A lot of music for each scene. Organized by mood. Maybe share the power to choose and switch music with everyone. I have to do like a play test of this game so I see like the order of operations and see when things would be better to happen. But I feel like it would be whenever I play test these games, I don't go very in depth with them. I just I play them just quickly, with no flavor or anything. So that's, I think it would be fine to play test this game. Some games I don't like this play test because it feels like very much like a one and done system. I'm thinking of the layout, how I would like the layout to work. I got jump scared by my own captions. Love that for me. Like, ideally, I'm thinking 3 players. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to figure out how to do the names. I'm thinking that the card, the NPC card, big name on it. On it. And when you're gonna play, going to play the character, you move the card under your name. Oh, I'd have to show the entire. Oh, there's so much I'd need to show. There's so much I would need to show. Unfortunately, it's actually pretty important. It's actually kind of very important that we see the names a person is playing. But we also need the thread zone. As us as players to see, not even for you guys to see, but as us as players. Because if there's 3 of us, right? What I can do, like, say these are where we're at, right? The council's there, and then I ask you to put the cards of the people you're playing under you. But then the thread zone needs to be fairly robust, especially if you guys are going to have to be able to see the letters along with us. There's only so much room on the screen for both. Like, ideally, I would have like the middle section segregated for the tiles instead of having a person there. But I would need to see their cards. So I guess I can like relegate someone here. So we do this. Who they are playing is here. And No. Hmm. How would I do this layout? So the thread zone is pretty important. So, okay, what I could do is when we're focusing on the thread zone, I can have us like this. And then this is where we have the thread zone. Right? That'll be like our like whatever, right? We have our I tried to come up with words quickly, but whatever. Mistake was trying to come up with actual letters in here. Let's squiggle in there. So we'll do this for like our thread zone. Or like that's where I'll have our cameras. I'll have our cameras on the side there. And then we'll do this actually. There we go. And then our other overlay. It is us talking up here. And we have this here. Right? And maybe like down here, I have this relegated to the word, the thread word. Because we need our location cards, right? Because here's the thing, we share a lot of things. So we share our location cards. So we all need to be able to see that. I can have like sections dedicated to items, right? So like that could be our risk deck. Even though there's nothing there, I could just have a picture of it. So like when we do pull it, we put it there. And we'll have like the main character card be a different color, right? To everything else. So like this is our main character card here. Everyone has their main character card. And then everything else is our supporting character. If playing a supporting character. Erasing is so easy and I wasn't doing it. So we have that. Then we have our location cards, right? In here. And we can do those as like a green. I jump scared myself with my own ad coming soon sound. We have our location cards here. We have our risk deck down here, or at least an image showing where the risk deck will go. You have the risk deck there. I don't know what else we're going to need to show. I don't know if escalation is something we're going to need to show also. No, something like that? I'm unsure. The thread zone there. This is going to be a difficult one to try and figure out how to have things for stream and for players to be able to easily see. Maybe I do need to like give a serious look into that Japanese tabletop system. Maybe that can make some of these things easier, except I don't think it would probably have a tile thing. I'm gonna have to sit on this and think about it for a while. I know I said I was gonna look at tiles, or different VTTs for tile stuff, but instead I think I'm just gonna call it for the night. It is getting late and I actually have a really early morning tomorrow. So, thank you guys for stopping by and hanging out. I do have to wait for this to end, this ad to stop playing. Unfortunately, I did not catch it before the end came, but we did some good, just like exploration stuff. You know, that's probably not the most pleasing thing to look at, so we'll just stay on these guys as I wait for these last 10 seconds to go. Yeah, thank you guys so much for stopping by, hanging out. Late stream because I had a late end to my day, my evening, so sorry about that, but I still think we got I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish, and what that was is I wanted to read through certain parts of the game again and see if I still enjoyed the idea today as opposed to yesterday when I was excited and reading through it. I am still in fact excited about reading about it and to continue reading through it. I think, like I said, I'm a big fan so far of the system. I'm excited to see what the full system's going to look like at the end of the day, and I'm going to wait to do anything super serious with this until the Kickstarter begins. Just like, so we're going to take it a little bit easy until the Kickstarter comes out, and then I shall see what that'll actually entail. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching. I really appreciate it, even though it was a little late. I appreciate y'all. Don't forget to be nice to each other. Don't forget to be compassionate, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye. And with that, once again, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate y'all. I hope you guys have a wonderful